Hi, welcome to Gary's Hobby Studio, and in this video I'm going to talk about miniature storage, on how to store your miniatures for your games. It depends on what you're going for. There's lots of different things to consider. First thing is, like, are you going to paint them? If you're going to paint them in that, I would recommend that you definitely store them in something with foam. You can make your own, or you can buy pre-made storage. I haven't made my own. I go with the pre-made storage, but I've also heard people go, yeah, I just throw them in Plano boxes and, you know, they're fine, they haven't chipped. My luck hasn't been that good. If you want to try it, feel free. I'm not saying anything I recommend is golden, because it's not. Try what works for you. And then that way you can decide which way you want to go. So the first thing I want to show you is, this isn't representative of the actual things that you can buy. I'll definitely have one. Hopefully I can fit it. I have to see. But the first thing is using like these Plano storage containers. And as you can see, they will hold miniatures. Now this one's not divided, or you can't divide it. I just grabbed one off my shelf just so I have one. But basically, here's one of the Zombicide Deadeye walkers that I've been working on, that I did a priming video on. But as you can see, it'll definitely fit in there. Now you could probably get something maybe a little shorter, but you got to make sure that the lid will close and it won't crush your miniature. And some of them have like little plastic dividing walls, or you can make your own in a case like this with some hot glue. I would definitely glue both sides of it, or if you want, you can use something a little more rigid. I want to say stuff that worked out pretty good with some of the other stuff I've done is the Gorilla Glue from, because I haven't used this clear yet, but I've used their brown stuff that kind of foams. And it works really good, especially on plastic, because I did a custom brush box until I bought one. Because it does pull up, because this is smooth and it really doesn't have anything. I tried wetting it. I did use it to re-glue one of my cases from Vallejo, because the foam was coming up out of it. And it seems to be holding that pretty well, but that's because I wet it. So maybe that's what you have to do, is wet the plastic first before using it. But back to the thing, I digress. But you could definitely use one of these if it had dividers, and you could store stuff in it. I typically use these, which is what I'll show you here in a little bit, that you can store your miniatures in it. I use it for cards, the pieces that, you know, the cardboard chips and stuff like that, that comes with it for the game markers and stuff like that. But this is one way you could do it. You could definitely take a chance on if it'll chip or not, the paint, even if you varnish it. I can't guarantee it, because again, I haven't tried it, because I don't want to take a chance, because my luck's just been bad. But that's just me for that. So this is definitely one way, is the Plano. I mean, I know this says creative options on it, but Plano makes these for them. So this is the cheapest way to go. You can make your own if you're skilled at it. Again, I can't cut straight to save my life, but that's just me. Now, the next thing is from a company called KR Multicase, and they make both the storage and the foam, which I really like their foam. It's really soft. There's another manufacturer, Battlefoam. They make foam in cases. They have a really nice, which I don't have any of theirs. They make a really nice, kind of almost backpack type, which I really like the look of it and everything. I haven't really owned any, so I can't verify how well it is, which I don't even have the backpack version of KR Multicase stuff, the softer stuff, but I prefer the hard stuff, the hard cases for my stuff. But I got these from Miniature Market when they used to carry them for my Star Wars, and then I bought foam from KR's site. And I'm trying to turn this so I can show you. And basically what it is that this is the blue foam, and you can get different foam. You can get solid one tray foam where, you know, you just take the whole tray out like this, or you can get the individuals like this. All depends on which way you want to customize it. And this is a one case height, so you can get deep foam that will fill this entire case, and then you can just make it go all the way down like I do for, which again I don't have it handy right at the moment, but I have it where my Rancor is in it, and it's just a solid piece. It would fill this entire tray all the way up, and it goes all the way, you know, and I could pull it out, and I cut some out to make room for it because he doesn't actually fit. Some of these you would have to cut to fit your your stuff if it's not anything they support. So, and they only make certain custom foams for like the base game. They don't, not for the other expansions where Battlefoam does, but like I said, their stuff is not as soft as this one. This stuff's really soft and spongy. I like it better than theirs. Theirs feels more almost like sandpaper, and that's why I'm not a big fan of it. I prefer this better. So as you can see, this is where I keep a lot of my extra, because I bought quite a few sets of Imperial Assault before, and you know, they fit really nice. I got the right size trays because I do that. I even have some foam up on my bookcase there. You can see behind me. You'll see once I switch back over to my full screen. That's my test foam, so I can test stuff for different games to see what size foam I need to buy so that I can store it. And as you can see, I mean, I have quite a bit. And I really like it. And you can see here that, like, instead of it being this way, it could be this way for different figures. Here's my painted R2-D2. I didn't wash him or anything. I just painted him because I got tired of looking at him, but I'm definitely going to try it on the second one that I have. And this one here, I use the all-clad chrome. And they're yellow, and he turned out nice. And I really like it. And as you can see, you know, they fit, they won't bounce around, they won't get scratched or chipped or broke or anything of the kind. I mean, unless you really run over it with like a Mack truck, which I think we're a little more careful than that. But this is their cardboard box, and you can definitely go that route, which would definitely be cheaper. If you want to go with KR Multicase, I really like it. I recommend them. I'm not in any way affiliated with any company's products that I'm mentioning. It's just stuff I've run into because, again, I'm trying to help people out in a lot of ways. KR Multicase does make some really good stuff. Battlefoam, from the looks of everything, yes. From the way it works, no. Because the little story on Battlefoam is that I bought their foam for the box for Imperial Assault, and if anybody has that game that might watch this, it's one of those square boxes. And what happened was I bought it, but it was like a couple of millimeters or about 1/8 of an inch too thick on the outer wall. So what happens is that it buckles. It's pushing on the box. It made the box lid hard to get off and hard to get back on. And there was a square space about so big in it where you could put your board game tiles, the board tiles that came with the core set, in there. But that spot, because of the pressure on the box trying to push in and it trying to push out, it literally pushed that foam up in that square where you put that. And you know, I sent a thing, you know, I reviewed it on their site, on Battlefoam's site, and said that if it was just 1/8 of an inch thinner, it would drop down in the box perfectly. I don't know why they made it that way. Who knows? Besides the fact that, like I said, when I'm feeling the foam, it just feels like coarse sandpaper, and it really does. And I'm not a big fan of that. I prefer the softer stuff. I don't want to, as I'm pulling my minis out, feel like I'm rubbing them on sandpaper. Now, They do make trays to hold paint bottles like this. Thinking about maybe doing that for maybe, it just depends on how I can get my paint situated. Just depends. It might be something I might look at for that, because, you know, as far as for paint bottles and tools like that, doesn't matter. But that's just me for Battlefoam. I know I might be looking at it for Marvel's Crisis Protocol. I'm not sure yet. Maybe if I can get it on a sale, if they have a sale, I might buy the stuff for the core box just to see how it'll fit, and if it puts too much pressure on the box, I'm not going to go with it. I'll probably just custom cut, you know, like take that stuff, test it, see what trays for the figures I need, see what trays for the other stuff like the cars and the other terrain and stuff like that. It might even work well because I have The Walking Dead, and it might be the same thing, and I'm going to use some of that foam just to test out how to do it. But the next thing that I have for it is I actually have their metal case, which, as I said earlier, I really like their hard cases. They can take a beating. I mean, I got a couple of scratches on that there, nothing that a sticker can't fix, and if I can figure out how to lay resin over top of it without it running over and running down and all that, because I'd have to seal all these corners and everything so it doesn't leak, I can just put a nice sticker over a lot of this stuff, put some resin on it, and guess what? It's done. But again, I digress. Here is the foam for it, and this is the case I use to store my Doom the board game. And as you can see, I have 2 trays for this, for the little guys. Some of them are missing because I probably have them in one of these other containers waiting to be painted. And now this is what I was referring to by that, you know, you can pick and pluck, because that's what exactly this is. I picked out so many of this, enough to fit this guy right here. And I cut out, now I had to cut out the, sorry, I'm looking at it upside down. I had to cut out this center divide right here because it would have went right there, and this way I could put him in there, and yeah, that's his gun. I was like, what the heck's that? But here's my Cyber Demon that I've started working on. I need to finish him up. But as you can see right there, you know, that's why I have that, and there's the remnant right there from me ripping this out, because that's the glue that held that for the center divide. And I took that out. He fits in there perfectly. I put this block that was probably one of these here or something on top of him like this, so that way he doesn't bounce around as much. And it's just a way to keep stuff, you know, firm in place so it doesn't bounce around. Not like it would really get hurt, but you know, I'm just overcautious, OCD on that. I have OCD on some things. My wife will tell you, you know, paint, games. Well, she's just as bad on games too. She's also she's OCD on makeup, so so she can't complain about me buying paint. So that's the double size, and then this is the one I use. This is the one I use. Yeah, that's the single. This one's the double, and as you can see by how thick this is, and now that it's got it in focus, this thing's, it's twice. It's 2 of that thin one. So basically, if I took the cardboard box and that one and stacked them up side by side, other than the fact that there's feet on the bottom of this here, okay, it would come out to be practically the same height. So you can store 2 of those single cases inside of this. And this one's going to be, I'm going to try to do it a little different way here so that you can still see me. And here is where I store my Walking Dead miniatures game. And as you can probably tell, some have been primed. Started painting Carl from the original base game. I did the Kickstarter when this came out, and got quite a bit of stuff, and I picked up some of the other expansions. I'm working on Wave 5 and soon Wave 6. Just with the uncertainty of things, I'm not taking any chances on running out of money. Plus I have other things I have to buy. But as you can tell, here's another set of the figures, and they fit well. They don't get banged up. This card, oh, this is for the promo walker that I purchased at my local game store. But as you can tell, I have another one of those sideways so that they're not always going this way. Still have to paint this yet. And this is the walker that was the promo that I need to fix really badly. But again, you know, I have like a complete solid tray, some individual trays to hold things. These ones are from the Here's Negan game here. Here's a prone marker that I have to remove that post on because they, wow, that's bad. And I think there's a few other ones that are like that too. Yeah, here's another one. But yeah, so like, and then this is a single individual tray. And then here's the cars. And this is what I was saying by I'm going to test the way I have this. And as you can tell, this is a really deep tray. As a matter of fact, I'll pull it out. Close this for a moment. And let me move this out of the way. Okay. And as you can tell, I mean, you can see how, and this is what I mean by you can get a tray that can actually fill up that entire single two boxes that I have, you know, like the metal and the cardboard. This will fit in an entire box. So here's what I use for the Walking Dead miniatures game. I still have to paint all these, but this may work out, this type of tray may work out for the Marvel Crisis Protocol cars and other things like that. And all I'd have to do is, like, you can, they make, like, here's like a thin divider right here, as you can see. You could rip this out, and then here's a thick spot, and depending, you could customize it where you just take out this one thick one, you could drop something in there, or you could take out the, because they're individually labeled like thick, thin, thick, thin. Depends on what you need, and that's the nice thing about it. You can customize these to fit anything you need. That's why I'm probably more leaning to this for Marvel's Crisis Protocol as opposed to the other, because of how deep this is. I'm sure Hulk and MODOK and anything like that should be able to fit one way or another, even if I have to cut, like, if it's because it won't fit this way, but it'll fit this way because I can go over so many. I can cut this center wall out. And if you leave either one thin one or a thin and a thick, that'll be a reinforcement so that this doesn't wobble. Now, considering I didn't cut these for the cars, it doesn't matter if these wobble because the cars are already in place, which, like I said, again, I have a feeling the cars will fit, and some of the other stuff. I still have to get Hulk, and I have to get MODOK to complete the first phase of Crisis Protocol. But, you know, and as you can see here, like, I put Rick on horseback in here because it fit by taking a thin. I took a thin and a thick there, put it there, and to give that some stability and stuff, I think I put, yeah, Sheba from The Walking Dead in there because it was that big, and it fits nice. So, you know, this is really customizable. Yeah, it's not going to fit exact. It's not like, hey, I can open it up and just drop everything in. unfortunately, they don't support it. They are kind of a smaller company. They support more Games Workshop stuff than they do the other. So, I mean, they only support the popular ones. They support X-Wing, they support Armada, they support Imperial Assault. They are... I think I sent an email about a couple of these, and they say that they're working with a couple of different games, and I can't remember if it was Zombicide, Green Horde, or something like that. But they are working with somebody on some games. So it's basically, you have to decide, and like I said, it's not that I think that Battlefoam is a bad company. There's a lot of people that like it, a lot of people like this. I happen to like KR more than I like Battlefoam, but that's just because I like the way it is. I like how soft it is. If you're looking for something that's a little more rigid when you have the trays out, because like I said, their trays won't be as, you know, like floppy as this. Yeah, Battlefoam's definitely the way to go. I'm looking at it more from a painter's perspective, and that I really don't want to repaint my stuff. That's why I like KR Multicase over Battlefoam. But it's your choice. You know, it's whatever you like, what you want to spend your money on. You can definitely go the Plano route, which again is the cheapest, or better yet, you know, go ahead and use the box that the original stuff came in. The thing is, and again, you might run into where your stuff chips. I've seen people paint Imperial Assault with just the craft paints, and they look fantastic. If you don't have skill at thinning them, which I'm still working on that myself, that would probably not be the best thing to paint miniatures with, especially your first time. So the last thing I want to go over is, now this is what I mean by the Plano storage case. I bought this. It originally had Imperial Assault. Imperial Assault grew to the point where it would not fit in this anymore. So I bought a bigger one. I bought the Creative Options from Hobby Lobby, 40% off coupon. That thing's like 70 bucks. I think it was 30 or 40 bucks, something like, I can't remember the exact price. I think it's like $69.99 or $95, whatever 40% off is. I'm not going to do the math right at the moment. So I transitioned this Plano over to The Walking Dead. And this is where I've put some of my larger tiles. These are some cards that I got a while ago that I didn't put in anything, and I don't know if I have them in here or if I just put them in there. But here's some of the terrain background, and I haven't decided where I'm going to put this yet. If this keeps getting any bigger, I'm going to have to get a bigger case, more foam. This stuff will probably go in there somehow. Again, that's what the test foam will be for, to test this stuff out. But I keep the books in here, line of sight pointer. I don't know how well this will come up on the... it might show up in the darkness there, but you know, this way here you can check line of sight. I have a couple of these. I have one for Imperial Assault, one for X-Wing, and one for this. And it's great because, you know, you could draw a laser line. You can see if you have line of sight. I need to get one of these for Doom because it's pretty much the same thing. But again, I digress. But this is how I store my cards and the tokens and stuff like that. Let me pull out. And I changed some of the trays because the ones that came with it they're more geared towards tools and not this. I can tell you what the part number is if you want to do this. I got this through Home Depot. I think it's this, I don't know if it's called the Stow and Go, but if you just type in Plano, that should show up. I want to say... inside the lid, it's a model 1372. 13.7. If you do that, you should be able to find it on Home Depot's website. But this box here, it's a Stowaway 3700 series. It's the model 3780 from Plano. That's what you need for the bottom to replace the ones that come with it, so that you can get the dividing up. Now, this is what I was telling you earlier that you could use for storing your miniatures, because again, I'll use this guy for an example. Is it, yeah, he fits in there. And if you want, you could try like getting some thin craft foam, and you could put some in all around, and I don't know if you want to put it on the bottom, or maybe like fill it out on the lid so that when you force it down and close it, then it's there, so if it bounces up. Or you might want to put it on the bottom too. That's, again, totally up to you. You can use these, like I said, I just don't have any good luck. I really don't. The only good luck I had was my wife, and she's my second wife, and I love her to death, and she's the best person for me. But again, I digress. Sorry about that. Keep my dice in here, all the tokens, the threat counters for both, because I bought the Prelude to Woodbury, which gave me a second set of dice, another threat counter, noise counter, and stuff like that. Here's the cardboard cars and stuff. I store these in here, and it's not a bad setup, and that's why I use that to store the cardboard of the games, because I have one for Imperial Assault, I have one for Star Wars, I have one for this, and I even got one for my wife. I bought her the same big size, that $70 one, for her Walking Dead, not Walking Dead, Zombicide Green Horde, because it just has so many tokens and stuff like that. So, because we also bought a lot of extra tokens, like the plastic acrylic ones. But this is how I store the game stuff, and I have it broken down this way. And like I said, since I have the physical barriers and stuff like that, that's what some of these are barriers, and I probably won't use these just because I have that. I have Michonne's thing for the one setup. But, this is one way for organization. My Imperial Assault one's the same thing. I have, it actually has a really thin one up at the top, and then it has two thick ones, and I bought these to put in those so that I could, store the cards and stuff like that. So there's that one, which is the top one. And then this one, I want to say came with it, because it says Creative Options, because that one says Plano. This one came, I think this one came with the big one that I bought for Imperial Assault. And because it's open, this is what I do with it. I store in it, like, anything that's really large. I might even put the ones in there since how big it is. But there's also, like, a bunch of cards. And until I can get a way to, like, store the cards, I put them in here. And I have sleeves for them all. I have to find where I put them so that I can sleeve all these cards. But I also keep like the acrylic, because I bought the acrylic set of rulers, and I need to get a second set of these. But this way, all the cards are in one place and stuff like this, and I don't have to worry about it, and it's not taking up room in the other one. It's not taking up room in the top. And it protects everything. It keeps the range rulers from being broken. You know what I mean? It looks like it needs clean. Looks like it got dirty. But, that's the way I'm looking at it. Is this way I keep all this kind of stuff together. I keep the other stuff together. And it just makes things simpler to get to, access, stuff like that. So that's pretty much it for game storage. And if you like what you see, please like and subscribe, comment below if you have any questions, if you want to see anything explained a little further, or if you want to see me cover something else. once you hit the bell icon, click all, and then that way you'll be notified once I get new, once I produce new videos. And as I always say, have a good day.